My name is Iris, and I am 28 years old. I work as an interior design assistant in a small studio near the harbor of our quiet coastal town. For the past 4 years, I have lived in a cozy little house with my husband, Marcus, a sales representative who often travels for work. Our life has always moved at a gentle pace. Each morning, I leave home early, passing by the sound of waves rolling against the shore. After work, I return to cook dinner, tidy the house, and sometimes walk along the beach to clear my mind. We do not have a luxurious life, but our days feel calm and warm enough for me to believe we are truly happy. I thought I understood my marriage. I thought I knew my husband. But one small discovery would soon change everything I believed in. My days always began the same way, with a soft morning breeze drifting through the kitchen window and the gentle sound of waves rolling against the shore. I would brew a cup of coffee, let its warm aroma fill the room, and take a moment to enjoy the quiet before the world woke up. It was a simple routine, but it grounded me, made me feel like life was steady and safe. I loved taking care of our little house. The living room was filled with plants I had grown from small cuttings. I kept a herb garden outside the back door and used it to cook the meals Marcus liked most: creamy pasta, lemon-roasted chicken, warm soup after his long trips. He always said my cooking made him feel at home, and those words stayed with me. On weekends, we usually watched movies with blankets wrapped around us, or took slow walks along the beach road, talking about work or silly things we saw during the day. Marcus traveled often for business, but he always reminded me, "Family comes first, Iris. Always." And I believed him, because his voice carried a softness that felt sincere. Our friends admired what we had. They said we were the calm couple, the ones who seemed to understand each other without trying too hard. I thought so too. I genuinely believed our marriage was stable, healthy, and full of quiet love. I believed the life we built together was strong. Maybe not glamorous, but honest. Those peaceful days made me feel secure, almost sheltered. And perhaps that is why the small changes, when they finally appeared, felt so unreal. They were subtle at first, easy to dismiss, but they slowly began to shake the foundation I trusted so completely. I didn't know it then, but the calm life I loved was already beginning to crack. It happened on a stormy Thursday evening, the kind of night when the wind pushed against the windows and the whole town felt restless. I was putting away Marcus's laundry, something I had done 1,000 times before, when my fingers brushed against a soft fabric inside his coat pocket. I pulled it out slowly. It was a woman's handkerchief, cream-colored, delicate, embroidered with tiny initials I didn't recognize. And it carried a perfume I had never smelled before, sweet, floral, elegant. Not the type of scent you'd catch from a crowded elevator. My stomach tightened. When Marcus walked into the bedroom, shaking rainwater from his hair, I held up the handkerchief and asked, as calmly as I could, "Whose is this?" He froze for half a second before forcing a quick smile. "Probably someone in the office dropped it. Maybe I brushed against it in the elevator. You know how crowded it gets." His explanation felt too fast, too prepared. But I nodded anyway, telling myself not to jump to conclusions. I wanted to trust him. I needed to trust him. But 2 days later, the same perfume clung to the collar of his shirt. Then came Friday night. Marcus said he had a company anniversary dinner and might be home late. I stayed up reading, but a strange unease lingered, twisting quietly inside me. The next morning, while taking out the trash, I noticed a folded paper in the pocket of his pants. A receipt from a high-end restaurant, dated last night. 2 glasses of wine. 2 entrees. A table for 2. He had told me it was a group dinner. The doubt that I'd been suppressing for days finally pushed to the surface. Still, I didn't confront him. Not yet. I kept hoping there was some explanation I wasn't seeing, something innocent hiding behind all these signs that didn't feel innocent at all. The final blow came unexpectedly. I went to the supermarket on Sunday afternoon, trying to clear my head. As I turned the corner near the produce section, I stopped. Marcus was there. And beside him stood a woman. Elegant, confident, laughing softly. The same perfume drifted toward me before I even registered her face. She touched his arm lightly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Marcus looked up and went pale when he saw me. "Iris, this is a client." "We just ran into each other," he said quickly, stepping back a little too fast. The woman gave me a polite smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. A cold wave washed through me. I felt my heartbeat in my throat, loud and shaky. I didn't argue. I didn't ask questions. I simply turned and walked away, pushing the shopping cart with hands that wouldn't stop trembling. Inside me, something cracked for the first time. And the storm outside didn't feel nearly as chaotic as the storm beginning inside my chest. For a week, I tried to stay calm. I went to work, cooked simple meals for myself, and walked along the beach every evening. But the questions kept burning inside me. Why did Marcus lie? Who was that woman? And why did that soft perfume follow him everywhere he went? On Sunday night, when Marcus finally returned from another late meeting, I was waiting at the table. I asked him, gently but firmly, to sit down. My hands were trembling, but my voice was steady. "Marcus," I said, "I need the truth." He avoided my eyes, rubbing his temples as if the lights in the room were too bright. "Iris, I told you already. Work has been stressful. You're imagining things." That sentence hit me like a slap. "Imagining?" I asked. "What about the handkerchief? The perfume? The 2 meals on the receipt? And the woman I saw you with?" He finally looked at me, annoyance flickering in his eyes. "You're being dramatic," he said. "Nothing happened. She's a client. Why do you never trust me?" The words felt cruel, twisted, like the truth was being turned against me. Something inside me cracked. "Marcus," I whispered, "I'm not stupid. And I'm not blind." He pushed back his chair and stood up. "I can't deal with this tonight." He walked toward the bedroom and slammed the door. I sat alone at the table, staring at the cold cup of tea in front of me. My chest felt tight, like the room was shrinking. Later that night, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number appeared. "He has been meeting her for months. You deserve to know." Below it was a photo, grainy but clear enough. Marcus and the same woman, walking into a small cafe together. His hand hovered at her back. They looked comfortable. Familiar. I felt my breath leave my body. When Marcus came out of the bedroom, I held the phone out to him. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he sighed, long, tired, defeated. "Iris. I didn't mean for it to go this far," he murmured. "We didn't cross the line. But I liked the attention. I felt appreciated." The last pieces of my trust shattered. "So you broke our marriage," I said quietly, "because you wanted to feel special?" He didn't answer. I packed a small bag with shaking hands. Just clothes, my journal, and my keys. Marcus stood at the hallway, silent, as if unsure whether to stop me or let me go. I opened the door. Rain was falling, the air cold against my skin. I didn't look back. That night marked the beginning of the end. The moment I realized that sometimes a heart breaks quietly, but completely. The first few days after leaving home felt unreal to me. I stayed in a small guest room at my best friend's apartment, but even surrounded by comfort, my heart felt unbearably heavy. I spent hours just lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of my marriage. I cried until my eyes burned, until my chest felt hollow. Eating seemed impossible, and sleep came only in short, broken pieces. I kept asking myself the same questions again and again. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Did I love him too much? The more I tried to find answers, the deeper the emptiness inside me grew. But one night, as I sat by the small window overlooking the quiet harbor, something shifted. The moon was reflected on the dark water, and the gentle sound of waves somehow calmed me. For the first time in days, I breathed a little more deeply. And in that stillness, I began to notice things I had ignored for years. I realized how many times I had silenced my own needs just to keep the peace. How often I had accepted excuses, overlooked small lies, and convinced myself that loyalty meant patience, even when I was hurting. I realized I had poured so much of myself into the marriage that I had forgotten to take care of the woman inside me. The pain was still there, but it no longer controlled me. Instead, it taught me something important. I deserved honesty. I deserved effort. I deserved love that didn't require me to lose myself. A quiet sense of strength began to build inside my chest. It wasn't loud, and it wasn't sudden, but it was real. For the first time since everything fell apart, I felt a faint, fragile spark of hope. And I knew that spark would guide me toward whatever came next. The first weeks of living alone felt strange, almost unreal. Iris woke up in a smaller apartment, with fewer belongings, fewer sounds, and no familiar footsteps in the hallway. Yet, for the first time in a long while, she felt a quiet sense of ownership over her days. She returned to work with a determination she didn't realize she still had. She organized her desk, made a realistic schedule, and even took on 2 new freelance design projects to occupy her mind. Every morning, Iris jogged along the shoreline. At first, she could barely run more than a few minutes. But with each sunrise, she pushed herself a little further. The rhythm of her breaths and the sound of waves became a form of healing. In the evenings, she lit a small candle by the window, brewed warm tea, and wrote in her journal. She wrote about pain, fear, betrayal, but also about strength, goals, and small moments of beauty she noticed each day. At work, Iris found unexpected support in Nora, a senior designer known for her calm wisdom. One afternoon, after a long meeting, Nora invited her for coffee. She listened without judgment as Iris finally spoke about the unraveling of her marriage, the broken trust, and the uncertainty of rebuilding her life. Nora gently squeezed her hand and said, "You rebuild your life by choosing yourself every single day. Not once. Not twice. Every day. That's how healing begins." Those words settled deeply into Iris's heart. Inspired, she enrolled in an advanced interior design course she had postponed for years. She spent weekends exploring new creative techniques, experimenting with colors, shapes, and concepts. Slowly, creativity became a source of joy again, not just a job. During this time, Marcus began reaching out. At first, he sent long messages, apologizing and begging for a chance to explain. He blamed stress, loneliness, and confusion. Then he called, asking if they could meet for dinner, just to talk. Iris read every message carefully but felt no anger, only a distant sadness. One evening, after much thought, she called him back. Her voice was steady when she said, "I don't hate you. But I need peace, not promises. I need a life where I don't have to doubt every word. And I need time to become myself again." Marcus was silent for a long moment before whispering, "I understand." After that, the messages stopped. In her new apartment overlooking the sea, Iris created a space that reflected who she was becoming: soft colors, minimal furniture, gentle light. She cooked simple meals, organized her books, and filled her home with small things that brought her joy: fresh flowers, handmade pottery, and sketches pinned to the wall. For the first time in years, her life felt like her own. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but little by little, Iris felt stronger, freer, and more grounded. She was learning to let go. She was learning to choose herself. And most importantly, she was learning to breathe again. That evening, as the sun slowly dipped behind the quiet ocean, I sat on the warm sand with my journal on my lap. The waves moved gently, as if they were breathing with me. For the first time in months, my heart felt steady. No rush. No fear. Just calm. I wrote slowly, letting every word settle into the page. I didn't lose him. I found myself. It was the truth I had been searching for. The truth that had been waiting beneath all the tears, the confusion, and the heartbreak. I realized that healing wasn't about forgetting the past. It was about understanding it, and letting it guide me toward a better version of myself. Marcus had once been the center of my world, but now, I was learning how to be the center of my own life. I was learning how to breathe again, how to love myself again, how to live without feeling small. The ocean breeze touched my face, and I closed my eyes, whispering a quiet promise to myself. I choose peace. I choose honesty. I choose me. This is the message I want to leave with you, the listener. True peace comes when you choose honesty, courage, and self-worth, even after your heart breaks. No matter how painful the journey is, choosing yourself will always lead you somewhere brighter. And now, I want to hear from you. If you were in Iris's place, would you stay and forgive? Or walk away to protect your peace? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional English stories to help you improve your listening skills.